Smart Retail is a central part of Island Pacific SmartSuite and sits at the core of the solution. The system is available to access through a web browser and contains modules to manage fundamental retail data and processes. The system is tabular and driven by users, roles, and permissions. I have an admin role so I can see all of the available tabs, but users can be assigned to different roles that have specific behaviors to control, not only their view of the system, but the actions that can be taken as part of that role. One tab that all users will want access to is the Merchandise tab. The Merchandise tab offers a central view of product data, stock ledger at any level of the merchandise and location hierarchies, and at style, color, or size level, and vendor information such as definition data and vendor purchasing analysis that is automatically generated by the system. The Merchandising tab is a great place to show some of the fantastic navigation features that we have across the system. Smart Retail is flexible and configurable, and while we have system preferences to define how processes work and to turn functionality on or off according to requirement, we also have a lot of functions available to individual users to allow them to have custom views of the system and to easily navigate to the data that they need to see. Firstly, on the left of the Merchandise tab, I have two fixed navigators. The top left contains the merchandise hierarchy tree that I can drill down through to isolate a section of the product hierarchy that I am interested in. The Vendor navigator allows me to select a vendor to show only items supplied by that vendor if needed. On the right-hand side, the main grid in this screen displays columns of product data. There are a number of ways to use the search bar. Users can select from various product identifiers according to preference before typing in the bar and clicking the search icon. When searching for a specific product, I can use item or SKU number or even the ISBN or GTIN code. My preference is description, and the system will remember this so I don't need to change it each time I navigate to this tab. The level of the rows displayed is controlled by the Group By drop-down, where I can choose to see products at style, color or size or item level. To change the level, I can select from the list, and the system will automatically change the data in the grid to the correct level. We have very comprehensive filtering in Smart Retail, and I can quickly and easily show the data that I need without having to rely on reports. The quickest way to filter the data is to make a selection at the top of any of the columns. However, for more complex filters, we have dedicated filter functionality that I will show now. By clicking on the filter function, I can build filters with multiple clauses and have access to the whole breadth of the item master data, including business-defined attributes. I have a wide range of operators to choose from when defining filters, so I'm able to build filters to find data that is equal to, is not equal to, greater than, or less than, and I can even select operators to show data between two dates. Filters can be saved for myself, and with the correct permissions, with other roles so that they can be selected later, without the need to build them again, and the system even remembers the filters that I have applied to save me from applying them each time I log on. Other great features to aid in navigation include sorting, either by clicking on a column or by building a multi-layer sort from the Grid Settings menu. I can group the data, and these can even be multi-layer to organize the data as I wish and allow me to drill through to lower levels. I even have the option of adding subtotals to the groups if required. We have highlights in the system to allow me to highlight data in the grid using colors on the text, the background, or by assigning an icon. Freezing a column will hold it to the left of the grid while I scroll across to the right. and I can also quickly adjust the width of the columns to my preference using the AutoFit function. These features really do make the difference when using the system day to day, and are available on most screens and grids across the system. Moving on to the content of the grid. The columns shown are only a small selection of what is available. By selecting the columns function, I can easily reconfigure my view, searching for, adding in, taking out and changing the order in which they appear. I even have the ability to create new columns with formulas using data held in the system. When I'm happy with my view, I'm able to save it for myself, or again, with the correct permissions, I can save it for a role within the system to allow other users to access the view by selecting from the list. Another really useful feature in Smart Retail is the ability to export the data in the grid to Excel. Clicking the export function will run a job in the background, and when complete, the user receives a notification in their message center and can click through to download and open the report. Whilst viewing all of the item master information is useful in the grid, we can focus down on a particular style, color, or size by double-clicking the row. I am sitting at style level, so when I double-click this product, the item details window appears and I can look through the product data all in one place. Again, we have a tabular view containing all of the data that has been defined for the item through item definition, as well as transactional data and analysis. Store data, including stock and sales performance. Handy links to any purchase orders that have been raised for the product, and the all-important stock ledger. The Island Pacific ledger is managed automatically by the system and gives visibility of all of the transactions associated with the product from beginning inventory, through transfers, sales, returns, adjustments all the way through to the current or ending inventory. We hold the ledger in retail, cost, units, and VAT, and have time buckets of week, month, season, and year, in line with the business calendar. In addition, there is also a color and size analysis tab that displays performance data in value or as a percentage, a history tab showing previous prices and recent receipts into the DC, and a deals tab that will display any deals that the product is currently included in. While the Items tab is the product hub, we also have a dedicated ledger tab that allows users to view the stock ledger at any point of the product and location hierarchies. I can choose a level of the merchandise hierarchy, and then I can choose a level of the location hierarchy, or even price groups or location attributes. Additionally, I can isolate groups of stores using the store group function, where we have business-defined groups of stores. The grid includes all of the grid settings functions that we saw on the Item tab, and the stock ledger is exactly the same, where I can see the transactions in week, month, season, and year buckets, but for whole sections rather than just one product. The Vendor tab is a fantastic resource where users can view vendor definition data, even if I don't have permissions to change it. I can also view vendor purchasing analysis that is generated automatically by the system either in tabular format or as a graph. In addition to the Merchandise tab, we also have an Inventory Management module with a dedicated tab where I can view purchase order activity and distribution with a whole list of statuses to allow me to track stock movements. Other features included in the Inventory Control tab include revaluation, physical inventory processes, and reassignments. Island Pacific SmartSuite also includes the Smart Omni Module that works hand in hand with SmartStore or can be integrated to third-party POS solutions. Smart Omni gives a central view of real-time stock across the chain and optimizes existing stock to improve sell-through, increase revenue, and improve delivery proposition and customer service. The application includes order orchestration, including business-defined fulfillment priority algorithms that can be amended in line with the business strategy. This feature allows businesses to control the most appropriate store to fulfill an order based on factors such as geographical location, stock cover, days to transfer, and fewest shipments. The Smart Omni tab gives full visibility of orders across the business and includes a dashboard with statuses so that orders can be tracked easily and store acknowledgement times can be monitored. Management of the application is central, and the application includes settings that can be amended, such as store opening times, critical inventory levels, and stock blocks. I will now move on to show item definition and product enrichment functionality. Smart Retail includes an upload toolkit to enable users to upload data in bulk for item definition, and we can also define items directly from Assortment Manager if the application is in scope. However, the on-system process is efficient and there are many features to support users to quickly define products. The newest version of Smart Retail introduces item templates. Item templates are configured ahead of time so that I can select one on item definition, and information included in the template will pre-populate fields so that I do not need to enter the same data every single time I define an item. Item templates are linked to pertinent product areas, so I can only select templates relevant to the product that I am creating to promote data quality and integrity, process efficiency, and ease of use. In the Add window, I will fill out the basic product information. The system can auto-assign a style number, or I can choose to manually define one. I will leave color and size blank as I'd like to create a multi-sized item. I enter a description, a vendor style reference, and cost and selling prices. Smart Retail has a feature called Initial Price Set. This feature allows businesses to define alternate price points for different markets. As standard, we have price groups that channels and locations can be assigned to. Price groups include currency conversions, rounding and market adjustments for selling prices. However, the use of Initial Price Set allows me to set specific price points where I want to increase or decrease the price for a market. Initial price set tables are configured as part of an implementation, and we include upload functionality for ongoing management. As this is configured in the background, prices are automatically set when the user defines the selling price in home currency at item definition. I can view and adjust the resultant prices by clicking the sales tag here, if needed. When the basic item data has been defined, I move along the additional tabs to enter more product data if it has not already been defined in a template. Highlights include commodity code functionality on the Logistics tab, where the user selects the commodity code from a predefined list that then automates duty rates when an item is added to a PO. The Product Enrichment Attributes tab contains all of the product attributes that are linked to this specific product area. Attributes can be configured to be numerical, alphanumeric, free text, or Boolean, and can also be set to be mandatory at item definition. As you can see on the screen, the attributes have already been defined in the template and are pulling through automatically. On the Assets tab, users can add pictures and an extended item description. The Exclusions tab is where I can identify product features that may exclude products from being sent to certain locations. International retailers may have products that cannot be shipped to particular countries, states, or postcodes, and we provide functionality to ensure that these products are not sent to these locations, if needed. The Care Instructions tab is a dedicated place for users to select relevant business-defined care instructions for the product, whilst the Composition tab allows us to build the composition of each element of a product. We have configuration in the background to control whether products can be defined without this information, by product area, and we can also allow products to be defined without care and composition, but stop users creating purchase orders if this data is still missing to ensure that the products have all of the mandatory information needed when a PO is raised. The Assortment tab is where I define the colours and sizes that will belong to this product. I can add the colours and sizes one by one. However, we have sizes, scales, and grids in the system to enable users to quickly set up a full size range of a product in just a couple of clicks. When items have been defined, I may receive additional data from vendors that need to be added at a later date. Using the Define Items grid, I can search for the product I would like to enrich or amend by using the grid functionality, as shown on the Merchandise tab, including the search bar, filters, sorts, and grouping. Products can be amended or enriched at style, colour, or size level, allowing me to change all of the options belonging to a style or to manage by exception for specific items. In addition to editing or adding item data directly from this screen, there are other functions in Smart Retail that can be used when larger groups of product need to be amended, such as global item change and a product enrichment attribute upload. As standard, we can also add additional options to an existing style if the decision has been made to buy the item in more colors or sizes. Smart Retail contains processes to manage the product throughout its life cycle and has a purchasing tab where users can create, view, and manage purchase orders. The Open PO tab lists all of approved purchase orders that have yet to come into the business. The grids include all of the standard Smart Retail navigation features, and information can be exported to Excel if needed. The top grid displays all of the purchase order header information, whilst the grid at the bottom of the screen shows the purchase order line item data. On the new Revise tab, users with the relevant permissions can raise new purchase orders. Each user has a dedicated workbench called a file group, so that purchase orders can be created in draft status ahead of time before being sent for approval by another member of the team. If approval workflow is not necessary, the user can approve the purchase order themselves. Upload Toolkit can be used to create purchase orders in bulk, or as with item definition, if Assortment Manager is in scope, the creation process can be fully automated from within the Assortment Manager application. When businesses decide to create purchase orders manually, the process is straightforward, and Smart Retail includes configuration to automate vendor and factory relationships, freight costs, payment terms, and transit times to optimize the process on system, to save time, and to promote data integrity. Island Pacific supports a number of purchase order types, including bulk for standard purchase orders, dropship, pre-split, and commitment purchase orders that enable businesses to employ up to 3 tiers of hierarchical purchase orders that call off against the original commitment. To demonstrate the on-system PO creation process, I will create a bulk PO. After entering my file group, I click New and the Add window will pop up, and I can begin to enter the PO header details. Smart Retail includes PO templates, so I can pre-configure information to save entering it each time. Entering the vendor will automatically populate the factory, shipping port, and freight method due to the configuration in the system. When I enter the product type and add the items to the PO, the system will calculate the transit times, expected delivery dates, shipping costs, and therefore the landed cost. Users can add products to a PO at style, color, or size level. We have an assortment tab that enables full-size scales or grids to be added at the same time. If the Smart Planning application, Size Profiler, is in scope, we can even split purchase order quantities by the optimum buy ratio automatically. Smart Retail contains functionality to support multiple drops on a purchase order and a handy copy PO line function if the user would like to copy an existing line and change the quantities or shipping date to create a new drop. There is also a handy function that enables users to quickly change the transport mode for a drop, and the system will recalculate the dates and costs automatically. When the PO is complete, I can save for approval later or, with the relevant permissions, approve directly from here. On approval, the PO can be sent to a vendor automatically by EDI, email or fax, or if Island Pacific Supplier Portal is in scope, the system will hand the PO over to the portal for real-time management between the retailer and vendor. The remaining sub-tabs in the Purchasing tab include a Close tab to give visibility of closed POs and an Archive tab to provide an audit trail of PO activity. Island Pacific Smart Retail includes price, promotion, and deals management capabilities. The Pricing tab contains functions to amend the original, book, or current selling price, suggested, PLU, and promotional price, as well as to create and manage deals and to track all pricing activity. The Markdown and Price Change tab is used to create price changes, temporary markdowns, and permanent markdowns. The grid on the top left shows price header information. The top right grid shows price instructions, and the grid along the bottom of the screen shows the output of the price change by item and store. To create a new price change, the user first creates the header, defining the type of price change or markdown, and giving a description and dates. Next, the user defines the instructions. Users can quickly select products using the hierarchy and filters and define price instructions on system. Alternatively, there is a new price session upload function. The price session upload process enables users to collate a list of product in a CSV file, define the instructions in the document, and upload it directly to the system for validation. Upload Toolkit is also available for price changes and deals. However, the new price session upload is quick and efficient and is very user-friendly. Highlights of the price management module include the ability to use percent off, amount off, markup and new price functions, automatic permanent markdown flags, an automatic tier pricing attribute that can attribute a product with business-defined values, such as first markdown moving to second markdown, rounding rules, and the ability to calculate a markdown on any of the existing prices. Whether defining instructions on screen or by use of the price session upload, the process is efficient and considered, and the functions are tailored specifically to retail pricing methodologies. The Cross-Session View tab is a fantastic resource whether the user creates price changes or simply wants to view the activity. As soon as a price change has been defined, the information is available to view on the tab, including the status of the price change from new to processed, so I can quickly and easily see upcoming price changes from inception. The grid settings enable users to amend the view and filter the data to show the relevant information for their role and the export function is available so that I can share the information across the business, if needed. The Smart Retail Deals subtab combines all deal-related activities from Smart Retail Deals procedures into one screen. It is used to create, approve, reject, display, change, and delete a deal. At the top left of the Deals subtab is a set of controls that can be used to search for existing deals, and right-clicking an existing deal will show available functions such as edit, delete, copy, view, approve, or reject. Clicking the Add icon will launch the Add Deal window. The user defines the deal header information and can add coupons if needed. Before setting recurrence and then moving on to select the type of deal that they would like to create. Buy this, get that deals are used to reward customers who buy a certain item with a second item at a discount. Buy one or more deals are used to reward customers who buy a certain quantity of items with a discount. And buy more, save more deals are used to reward customers who spend a certain quantity or amount of merchandise with increasing discounts. Other functions here include the ability to select the locations and channels that will host the deal by either selecting a whole level of the location hierarchy, a price group or store group, and we are even able to filter the selection by business-defined location attributes. If needed, I can define exceptions and set receipt messages or vendor contributions. Smart Retail Deals are flexible and variable, and the available functionality enables detailed configuration whilst maintaining an easy and efficient process.